Okay. I think we should get going. It's 5:30 today. You think we should get going? Should we get going? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we will now call this meeting to order. Meeting called to order at 5:30 p.m. Mr. Koenig, could you please do a line roll call?
President Garcia, Vice President Ocampo,
Present.
Clerk Perez,
Present.
Trustee, Trustee Gilpus Barrera, Trustee Jimenez.
Here.
Ms. Garcia is not here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. We will now proceed to the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Bryden Ramos, sixth grader in Mr. Rittenor's class at Monte Bella Elementary School. Bryden?
Please rise for the pledge. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all. You may be seated.
Okay, that was wonderful. We'll now continue to D, which is spotlights. Do we have any spotlights today?
Yes, we have at least one spotlight. The leaders of the LSL Professional Development Committee, Edie Porter and LSL of the Ed Services Division, and Clementina Pantoja, kinder teacher at Fremont Elementary School, will highlight the cooperation and impressive results of the Great LSL Teaching Conference, which took place on February 3rd.
Thank you for including us tonight. Good evening, board. The board president isn't here. Board members, Superintendent Koenig, community members, and of course, always colleagues. It's with joy that I provide an update on our recent Great LSL Teaching Conference, also known as GATSI. My name is Edie Porter. I'm the Director of Curriculum and Instruction and the co-chair of the Professional Development Committee. Joining me by my side is the ATA co-chair, Clementina Pantoja. And also behind us, members of the committee. On Monday, February 3rd, certificated staff and administrators, over 375 certificated staff members, participated in the dynamic conference-style PD Day, Rise of the Content Jedi, presented by teachers for teachers. We thought last year was amazing. It was. But this year had the highest numbers of attendees and sessions that GATSI's ever had. I want to be very clear that this day includes year-long planning by our PD committee members, a partnership between ATA and central office. I'd like to acknowledge my co-chair partner, Clementina Pantoja. This year, she had a very specific vision to create a welcoming space for her colleagues that emphasized our nod to the Star Wars theme. Well done, Clementina. I will remind us all that this committee helped earn the Golden Bell Award in 2023. Saying this provides me with one more chance to say congratulations to us all, including the board, superintendent, and the original PD committee members. Before playing the GATSI trailer for you all, I want to publicly address my CSEA sisters and brothers. Without you all, the Great LSL Teaching Conference would not be possible. Our MOTS, our IT team, food services, all of you, all of the departments are essential to this event, including the curriculum and instruction staff, Norma Leon and Etzel Salindo. My deep, deep gratitude to these teams. I'd also like to thank our own George Lopez. What a talent we have in him. And with that, Clemente is going to push play for the GATSI trailer that was created by our own unofficial in-house graphic designer, George Lopez. Enjoy. Well done, George. And if you are a part of the PD committee, will you stand just so we can recognize? There's a lot of you here tonight. So as I close, we've brought each of you a certified and very rare, hard to find Rise of the Content Jedi poster as a reminder of how your leadership provided opportunities and continues to provide opportunities for ATA, CSEA, and central office to collaborate together. Thank you for that. Congratulations to all for a highly successful GATSI event. We're going to top it next year for 25-26. Thank you.
Mr. Jimenez, you have a spotlight also?
Yes, sir. I want to begin by congratulating Mr. Anso, our MOTS Director, Maintenance, Operation, Transportation, and Safety, on his birthday. Many congratulations. And I also take this opportunity to congratulate him for his excellent work leading his department. Thank you for making a difference in our district. This March, we celebrate the National Women's History. Women are the most important people in society. Thank you for everything and you for all you gave. Also in March, we celebrate the National Social Work. Thank you to social workers for your important work for the well-being of our community. Last Monday, March 10th, we celebrate the Maintenance Workers Appreciation Day. Thank you to everyone. To everyone. Oops. Okay, thank you for everyone in the maintenance department for their excellent work. Finally, don't forget that our spring intercession will be held from March 24th to 28th, and we will be teaching theater, robotics, art and craft, tutoring, dance, and physical education. Transportation is available from home school to host site. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimenez. We will now move on to the adoption of the agenda. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made by Mr. Jimenez, a second.
Second.
Second by la señora Leticia. I'm sorry, Clerk Beatriz Perez. Apologize. Comments, questions? Okay, we will take a line vote then, Mr. Koenig.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Perez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
We'll move on to public comments, closed session agenda items only. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There's no ceding of one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. The starting time is 5:42. And I guess we have an ending time of 5:42. We will now adjourn to closed session at 5:42. Closed session, Government Code Section 54957, Public Employee Employment Title, Superintendent. Thank you. We'll now convene to closed session.
Never all over.
Okay, very good. We will now reconvene to open session. Time reconvened is 5:58. And at this point, there's no reportable action. We will now move on to 5, which is a public comment concerning items on the open session agenda and/or non-agenda items. Guidelines, there will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There is no ceding at one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on open session agenda items or other items may do so at this time. Starting time, 5:58. And we have an ending time of 5:58. We move on to B, which is association comments, ALASAL Teachers Association. Okay, thank you. California School Employees Association, Chapter 577. And also United Substitute Teachers Union. Okay, very good. So at this time, without objection, I would like to take out of order item 11A. And so we will move on to, if there's no objection from anyone, we will then move on to 11A. Uh, 11A, action item, board to consider and approve the employment agreement for the next superintendent.
I propose to make that motion. I moved it to adopt the employment agreement with Ms. Monica Anzo and to replace the word classified on page 2, paragraphs 3A, 3B, 3D, and 3E of the employment agreement with the word certificated to more accurately reflect Ms. Anzo's certificated status. So that's my motion.
Thank you for that. Do we have a second?
Second motion.
Second by Mr. Jimenez. We have any comments or questions? So at this point time, I'm required to read something to everyone here. The district will consider approving an employment agreement entered into with Mrs. Monica Anzo for superintendent. A summary of the employment agreement's general financial terms are as follows. The length of Mrs. Anzo's employment contract shall be for 3 years, starting on July 1st, 2025, and shall continue through June 30th, 2028. Mrs. Anzo will receive an annual salary of $263,000. Please note, there is a typo, and I think we addressed that. There is a typo on the post contract on page 2 where it states classified. I think that was part of the amendment, was to change that to certificated. Mrs. Anzo will be eligible to participate in the district's health and welfare program on the same terms, conditions, and limitations as the certificated management employees. The district's tax deferred plan that is available to the certificated management employees and receive the same holidays as the district's certificated staff. So that being read, I will now go. There are no questions or comments at this time? Okay, very good. Then we will then move on to, if we can have a line vote, Mr. Koenig, please.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Perez, Trustee Gilpus Pereira,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, very good. So it's my understanding that there are, congratulations, Mrs. Anzo, but it is my understanding. It is my understanding that there are a few people that have come in from out of town for the purpose of this particular item. So in taking into consideration that you have to go back I guess, home, we 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 will take a 10-minute a break at this time, so that if anyone wishes to congratulate Ms. Anso, please do so. So we will take a 10-minute break at this
President
point.
Ocampo, may
Yeah.
the board have a minute?
course,
or
yes,
so
of course.
we don't have to start with me, but just,
Yes, of course. Anybody on the board would like to say anything at this time?
oh, I guess I'm the only one. I just wanted to really congratulate Mrs. Anzo. You have some pretty tough shoes to fill with the work that Mr. Koenig has, the positive work that Mr. Koenig has done for our district, that this board will always be appreciative of. And we're elated. Thank you for accepting the contract. We look forward to working with you. Having so many people here, some of the top, I call them dogs, but in a nice way, dogs, it's top dogs in the district here supporting you, Mrs. Anzo, means a lot. And so we'll be waiting for July 1st, and we will continue to work with our current superintendent, who is doing an outstanding job. And thank you so much. Looking forward to the partnership that we will have as a board with you as superintendent. Congratulations.
No other comments? Of course.
So same thing, I want to thank the board for the confidence and to the community. Sorry, I'm just a little emotional right now. I think that the love that I have for Alisal and the love that this room has for our district really is in my heart at this moment. And that is where the emotion is coming from. Mr. Koenig has set a foundation in the past 5 years that he's been the superintendent. Then now that together we are going to be able to take and move forward. So I really again appreciate the confidence that you have in me and the trust that I will take this responsibility very serious. And again, it's close to my heart. And the last thing I want to say is thank you. As a teacher, August 1999, I opened a classroom at Creekside Elementary. Never did I think that I'd be taking on this seat and responsibility. So thank you for, again, putting that investment and that trust in me.
Okay, we'll take a 10-minute break then. I think so. Okay. Okay, we will then proceed with the board meeting. And we move on to item 6, which is school site presentation. Principal Lilia Valladares from Montevela Elementary School.
Good evening, Vice President Ocampo, board members, Superintendent Koenig, and community members. My name is Lilia Valladares, and I'm principal at Montebello Elementary School, where we are scholars by day and Thundercats by night. So this, we needed to, we always go big or go home. So just a little background on our school. We are the largest student body in the district. We started this year with 812 students. We have actually decreased to 789. So we are the school that hosts the dual immersion program. Currently, we have 19 dual immersion classes and 12 English language classes. Because we are such a large population, we do have 37 RSP students in our caseload, but we do have 2 teachers that are supporting the work. And we have 43 speech and language caseloads, but we also have 2 speech and language therapists that are supporting with that. Our emergent bilingual students, which are our English learners, they are decreasing somewhat. We are at 314, and we have 87 migrant students. With our teachers and our backgrounds, and our resource staff composes of 31 classroom teachers, and we have 6 resource staffs, 2 of them that support with the instruction, and 4 of them that support with the social emotional, which is our school counselor, who I have to give a shout out to her, Maricela Gonzalez. She's amazing. She's all over the campus supporting with classroom presentation and activities. She's spearheading our PBIS since I don't have an AP currently assigned, but I am being supported. So she's definitely spearheading a lot of the projects that are related to our PBIS. I'm fortunate to have intervention teachers. We have 2 intervention reading teachers. They are substitutes in our district, but they are really amazing. And one of them is supporting our Spanish reading, which is Mrs. Alcala. She works with 1st grade to 3rd grade with Spanish, and she also supports the English-only counterparts that are in our dual immersion classes to support them with the Spanish structures and grammatics and syntax. And then Ms. Santana, she supports her English-only classroom, so equity is really important to us. Last year, we embarked on having an ELD intervention teacher that is focused on working with 4th, 5th, and 6th. She's made a huge impact as far as preparing our students for the LPAC, and she's focusing on giving them strategies and supports and how to answer the assessment. Here's just a highlight as far as what we are doing as a site. For the SBAC, the state test that covers 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, the percentages for the English language arts and math. And I did a comparison because I want to see how our dual immersion classes are doing compared to our English language classes, because it appears to me that Montebello is really growing and parents are embracing the dual language program. So as you could see, we are very comparable as far as the dual language. In 3rd grade, the dual immersion starts with English language arts, but still the mathematics is, I'm sorry, the other way around. Mathematics is in English and language art continues in Spanish. But as you could see, there was 33% of the students in the DI class that were at or above grade level. And the English language was 33. In math, because they are learning the new language, it's a little bit lower compared to the English. No, I'm sorry, it is higher. It's 44%, even though this is the first year that they are exposed to the language. And then in fourth grade, that's when the English language arts and math are in English. But as you can see, we're still pretty comparable to the English counterparts. And I just have to highlight and jump to sixth grade because they are doing an amazing job. As you could see, our dual language classroom had a 52% at or above grade level, and our English language a 58. And in math, it was 55 and 45, which is pretty high, and it was the highest, my understanding, in the district. So they're doing an amazing job. In ELD, even though we didn't have great numbers for level 4s, we still did very well. But as you could see the percentages, we do have a lot of students in the level 3, which we're hoping that this year, as we take the LPAC, that they will move on to the level 4 and hopefully reclassify more this year. These are just some of the numbers for the reclassification from the LPAC that we took last year. We had a total of 35. 6 of them were able to be reclassified and move on to 7th grade. We did have a decline in our LP, which is the progress indicator. So we did decline 22%. But because we have a bank of students that are in the level 3, and with the work of our ELD specialists, that I feel confident that we could reclassify more students this year. I want to highlight our instructional leadership team at the site. It's composed of representatives from each grade level. One of the teachers joins us from each grade level and is the lead, and we go to the PLCs or trainings at the district. And I'm really excited this year because we are really focused and are moving forward with what we are learning at the ILTs at the district level. So we are working in strengthening our professional learning teams and following the 4 essential questions of knowing what we want our students to learn, how do we know they're learning it, and what do we do if they don't learn it, and how are we assessing that? We're really diving into analyzing the standards, and we're focused on the learning intentions, which is what is it that I'm going to teach them? You know, and for the teachers and the students to know what they're learning and really have a focus on the lesson, but also using the success criteria, which is understanding how am I going to measure if my teaching worked or didn't work, and then what? And Leslie is creating the common formative assessments as a team to determine if we're really teaching what we need to teach, and it's all based on the essential standards, and analyzing the data to see what the next steps would be. Here's an example of what diving deeper into the data looks like. This is a kindergarten template. Our instructional coach created it, and as you can see, they put the student's name and the scores, and it auto-populates into the different categories. And they're diving in deeper to say which students, or this one is, are they able to count from 0 to 5? For the next is 6 to 15. And they're going more in depth into the data and trying to analyze exactly what the skill is missing and what do they need to do to move those kids forward. And that has always been the big question. We know who our reds are, we know who our yellows are, we know who our greens are, but now what? You know, it's like we could always identify, but it was the moving forward. What exactly can I do? So they're creating strategies and ideas of how to teach those skills in small group. And they're even diving deeper. So one of the assessment that fourth grade did is related to the SBAC, and they wanted to find out which question was more difficult for the students. So they actually analyzed by question and determine how many students missed that one question. So then they could go in and look at it and say, okay, why was this question difficult for them and what can we do next? In sixth grade, the same. They did an assessment, the common formative assessment, and they break it up into groups and then they determine what do we do next. And they're going more in depth as far as exactly what they need to do. So, and I feel that this is a really important work that they're doing. And at first it was a little challenging, but now they're embracing it and they're actually moving forward and they're taking it upon themselves. Some grade levels are actually doing the work during their Wednesday planning time. And we feel really confident that we are moving in the right direction. Lastly, I want to highlight our accomplishments for the PBIS awards. This is our second year that we are recognized with a platinum for implementation. And I have to give a shout out to Mrs. Navarrete, who is now interim principal at Steinbach. She spearheaded a lot of this work. So we got it last year, 2023, and again this year in 2024. So that's been really inspiring, and it supports the teachers' morale and the students as well. Oh. A couple of, oops, lemon, I don't like this one. A couple of things that last year chronic absenteeism was very low, really high for us. So one of the things that we started doing and part of the PBS is celebrating the classes that were getting highest percentages. So we started a competition by grade level. So monthly we do percentages for the month, and the class per grade level that has the highest percentage gets to take the trophy and host it. They don't even get to keep it, they just host it for the month. And we started doing it in the classroom, but then decided, hey, let's try it in our student of the month assembly. And the kids, I invite you to come to one of them because the kids just get super excited. It gets really loud. We get drum rolls on the table, and it's turned out to be a huge competition. The example you have are the pictures that are taken and posted on the walls in the cafeteria. So they're constantly wanting to see that their class gets the award. And it's made a huge difference. The simple little things like this that we think it's no big deal, but just the joy and the excitement that the students have when their class receives it or takes it away from another teacher is something nice to see. And the other one, we started the positive referrals to the office, which is your pink notes, pink for positive. So it encompasses our PBIS core values, which is respectful, responsible, and ready. The teachers refer a student to the office with this note, and they write what they did great, what are some of the accomplishments, and then they send them to the principal or the assistant principal. And we first started, not too many kids get it, but when we first started it, they were really afraid, right? And they're like, why am I here? And we do make an effort, I do make an effort, and I call parents and I said, hey, I have your student here, and he was referred to me. And of course, it's like that silence because they think they're in trouble. But it's like, no, it's a good thing. And then I read the note and I put them on a speaker so that the child can hear the parent's reaction. And it's really rewarding to see the smile on their faces because they're hearing me tell their parents what a wonderful job they're doing. So, and we do reward them with a golden pencil, which is special. Only the ones with the positive notes get it, and a little gift certificate from the In-N-Out Burger. So that has really supported our work. And instead of the supervisors giving scholar dollars at recess, they also have pink notes that Theirs are a little bit different. It says, I caught you being respectful, responsible, and ready. And now the teachers are posting it in their classroom on the wall. So there's a collection of positive notes. So we want to celebrate the positive and not always just the negative. So those are the things that are happening at Montebello. Really super proud of the team that I have, the teachers. We just had the ILT and our team was super excited with the work that is coming out of there, and they're gung-ho and ready to move to the next level. And those are some of the things. There's a lot more going on, but those are the main things that I wanted to highlight for Montebello. And if you have any questions.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Guimas.
I do have one brief question, but I did want to say thank you so much for being here. I could tell you're very proud of your school and what's going on, and you gave a shout out to a lot of the staff members at your school site. So that's always good to hear. And I know that for myself, when a principal gets to come and show off their school, it's one of the most pleasant parts of our board meeting. And so we thank you for bringing that to us. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's really, Montebello really rocks, I know. So thank you for doing that. Now, Ms. Valladares, I did have just one brief question. As far as, there's 19 classes, I wasn't aware that there were so many dual immersion classes. So what grades do we have a 6th grade dual immersion? Wow.
We've had one since last year. This year, and we have 2 TK classes. One is the dual immersion and one is English language. We have 3 kinder DI classes and 1 English. In 1st grade, we have 2 and 2. 2nd grade, we have 3 dual immersion and 1 English. And 3rd grade, we have 3 dual immersion, 1 English. And in 4th grade, 5th grade, and 6th grade, we have 2 and 2.
Great.
So we are growing.
Thank you. I'm sorry. So then the way the dual immersion program, so for instance, the TK dual immersions for 1st grade, 2nd, all the way to 6th grade will be in the dual immersion program?
Yes.
That's great. And how is it working out as the 6th graders are exiting?
As far as
How are they doing academically?
as you saw the first graphic, if you look at the purple strand, you could tell that they're excelling. They're comparable to the English only, because I know that's always been one of the main concerns. It's like they're learning Spanish, but are they really meeting the goals or the criteria that an English class is going to accomplish? And they are. So, and they're coming out bilingual. So they're coming out with their native language, plus they're acquiring the English. And the reclassification, most of the classes that reclassified are the dual immersion, which most of the time we think that because we have them in English, they're going to reclassify sooner, but that hasn't always been the case.
Well, that's a
So-
big indicator that they're doing very well. And thank you for your leadership at Montebello.
Thank you.
So is it Montebello or Montebella? Is that the same as tomato and tomato, or, because I want to say it correctly.
I heard it's Montebello because we're in the Tuscany area.
Oh, okay.
But if you go with your Latino counterparts, we'd say it's Montebello.
So either one's okay with you?
For me, it's okay. For the district, I'm not sure what the official title or the pronunciation is,
I
but
could,
but
okay.
for me, it's
Thank you.
Montebello.
Sometimes I'll do one, then I'll do the
Yeah.
other and fit in. Thank
We
you so,
respond to everything.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
No more questions? Okay, thank you, Ms. Valladares, for the presentation. We will then move on to 6B, which is presentation 24-25, second interim budget report. Elaine Mendoza, Director of Physical Services.
Good evening, Board Vice President Mr. Ocampo, trustees, Superintendent Mr. Koenig, our new superintendent. cabinet, and community. We are here again to show how we are revising our budget. We are in the middle of 2024-25 budget cycle, and after budget adoption, we revise. We revise our budget twice every year, and those revisions are called interim revisions. We came to you in December to present the first interim revision. And now this is our second opportunity to show how revenues and expenditures have changed. We do that based on education code. Ed code 42130 requires, mandates that we revise our revenues, expenditures, reflect beginning balance and ending balance for all the programs that we have. This includes all the funds, including general fund, child nutrition services, facilities funds, building funds. This includes all the resources within general fund, restricted and unrestricted. We have made all the calculations, we have prepared all the required reports, and we are just going to show a very brief summary of all the changes that we have made to our budget. My colleague and my friend Elaine, highly qualified professional, is going to show you all the changes that we have.
Good evening. So as Mr. Abbasi had stated, we will be providing a quick update of our budget through the second interim report, which covers the period ending in January 31st. So for budget reports, some assumptions are taken into account. Enrollment will decline about 2% per year. The enrollment per ADA is at 95.21% at second interim. The funded ADA is based on an average of the previous 3 years, and the unduplicated count of eligible students is at 94.80%. For planning factors and comparison, we look at the enrollment, funded ADA, unduplicated pupil count, and COLA. Here you can see the changes through each of the reporting periods that we've had. So at second interim, our enrollment is at 7,303. The funded ADA, which is based on the previous 3 years, is at 7,040. Our unduplicated pupil count at 94.80%, and our COLA is at 1.07%. A few highlights of the second interim report is it includes revenues and expenses, expense changes from the first interim budget. The certificated and classified salaries are adjusted for step and column changes. And the salaries do not include any negotiated settlements for the 24-25 fiscal year. For budgeted reserve, we are maintaining the 3% that's required by the state and the 7% that's designated by the board. Some contributions the district makes from the unrestricted funds is 11.5 million to special education, 6.2 million to routine restricted maintenance, and 3% is from the general fund. And for transportation, 1.7 million. This slide shows the balances for general fund. This is a combination of both unrestricted and restricted funds. So the balances are reflected through each of the recent reporting periods from the adopted budget, first interim report, and second interim report. On the last column, we show the increases and decreases from first interim to second interim. So at second interim, the ending fund balance is 66.3 million, and the reserves at 20.9 million, maintaining the 10% minimum reserve. We have broken down the general fund a little further and distinguished the difference between what's unrestricted and restricted. The unrestricted revenue is at 97.9 million. After calculating expenditures and adding the beginning fund balance, the ending fund balance is 58.4 million. For restricted, the revenue is 71.7 million. And after expenditures and beginning fund balance, the ending fund balance is at 7.9 million. Okay. In the budget report, we make some multi-year projections. Some assumptions that we look at are class size, which is maintained at the current level. The reserve is at 10%, step and column adjustments for eligible employees, and the projections do not include any salary settlements for current year or for the out years. So here for the multi-year projection, we have the current year numbers and then 2 subsequent years. So we're projecting out to fiscal year 26-27 with an ending fund balance of 59.9 million and still with the 10% reserve. We have several other funds. So this slide shows you the beginning balance, the revenue and expenditures, and the ending fund balance of each of the other funds that we have. We have our major ones, which is the Fund 21 and Fund 35, that's contributing to the projects that we have going on. So next moves, we have negotiations with our bargaining partners. That continues. And our second interim report, which is due March 17th, being presented tonight. And then for 2025-26 budget year, we have the governor's budget proposal, which staff attended on January 21st. Next up, we have the May revision on May 21st. And then lastly, we have the budget and LCAP public hearing on June 4th and the adoption on June 25th. Staff recommends that the Board of Trustees approves the filing of the fiscal year 24-25 second interim report with positive certification. Any questions?
Any questions from the board? I think there are no questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the report. Okay, we then will move on to number 7, which is board member superintendent reports. Any reports from board members? Or, well, oh, go ahead. Senator King.
Thank you. I kind of repeating couple of things that Trustee Jimenez already mentioned. March 2nd through the 8th is National School Social Workers Week. I saw a couple of them, but I think they're gone already. But just to congratulate them and to thank you for the great work that they do in the district. Also, the March 10th, as he had also mentioned, Maintenance Workers Appreciation Day. So we know that our maintenance department is also to be celebrated and thanked. And thanks to our PIO, she puts these things on the website so that others could see that we're celebrating our own staff because of the good work. So thank you, Ms. Melendez. And also, we recently had Alisal Union School District celebrate National School Breakfast Week. I know I saw the superintendent, I think, was partaking and feeding some of the students their breakfast. I don't know if I wasn't able to participate, but it's always fun to do that. And you see the little kiddos there. And so thank you to our staff that feeds our students, the nutrition, the cafeteria people. And then also on Saturday, March 15th, Hartnell College Foundation is going to have their 19th annual STEAM Family Science Day. And I feel very proud to share that the City of Salinas will recognize our district, AUSD, for excellence in expanding its STEAM education through highly quality educational experiences and partnerships. So Mr. Koenig is aware of that, and they have a plaque for us. And so your work and Mr. Fausto's work and those who work in the extended learning will be honored or recognized. So that's all I had to report. Thank you.
Any other reports? Yes, Mr. Koenig.
Yes, I just need to clarify some misinformation that was contained in a public comment made during a recent Salinas City Council meeting. According to the erroneous statement, Alisal Union School District inhospitably refused Montebello residents admission to a meeting at the district office on February 12th. The meeting in question was conducted by the City of Salinas and hosted by the district in one of our conference rooms. Those who participated included a Salinas City Council person, as well as other city leaders, Alisal Union School District administrators, and Montebello community residents. The 2 district representatives invited to be present and who attended were myself and Associate Superintendent Abbasi. Others arrived, however, and they were told by the city representatives who scheduled the meeting that the meeting was by invitation only. The district did not invite anyone to the meeting, nor did district representatives know who would be present other than the district and the city. During the meeting, the district expressed its continuing support of use of district facilities by youth sport leagues when they're not required for district educational purposes. I would like to point out that the district did not invite anyone, and we only planned to have 6 people at the meeting. That's all, that was the total number of chairs we'd set up based on the city's guidance. So there was no place for them to sit if they'd come in anyway. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Koenig. Okay, we will now move on to the consent agenda, which is to approve and ratify the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion. Motion made by Senor
Second.
Gilpa, second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? No? Yes, Senora
Yes,
Gilpa.
yes, thank you. I just have a 2 items, consent item, agenda item 8H, which talks about the arts and music and school funding. And I said, so as I understand this, we weren't able to use the funds. And it talks about in percentages, how much funds we couldn't use because we had a lack of teachers. We needed our qualified teachers in the classroom, which makes sense. That is priority. But in terms of money or finances, how much so what happens to those funds if we didn't use them? Do they roll over?
They roll over for 1 year, and if we don't use them, then they'll be given back. We have hired all the teachers, so we will spend all of that money this year.
Okay, I saw that in the plan, which is good to hear. And also, please remind me, because I couldn't find it here, what is VAPA the acronym for?
Visual and Performing Arts.
Oh, okay. So I noticed that sometimes we use acronyms and our community doesn't know what they are. I didn't know them, and I probably should have, because I serve the public on this board, but I know in some places they'll put what it stands for, but I didn't see it that time. So maybe that's something, if we can and we remember, we can work on for the sake of those community members that read the agenda and the backup reports. They know what they mean. But thank you. I'm glad I didn't know that that's what happens to the funds. And then also consent item number 8I it talks about the safety plans, and we were able to see the 12 safety plan verifications that the principals signed. And, and just briefly, it says, by signing below this comprehensive school safety plan, they're saying that it meets all the requirements. So if I'm a principal, I sign the form, or what keeps what I'm signing alive? What's in there? Like it talks about bullying. Well, what's done with bullying? It talks about the dress code. It talks about several things, safety at school, child abuse reporting procedures. So does the principal, because they signed this, say they know what to do in all these cases and they know how to train the teachers what to do, or just what is it? What's done after the signing? And I don't mean that sarcastically, excuse my body language, but what happened?
With regards to most of what you said, yes, the principals do know what to do with regards to reports of child abuse or suspected child abuse, bullying on the school sites. There are individual schools or school-specific items that are in the safety plans that have to be identified by the school site. And Ms. Anzo, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
So in addition to the principals and the assistant principals really work closely with the safety committee at their sites and then our team at the district level. So they ensure that they know what to follow and they also know if I don't know what to do, who do I, at the district office, who do we contact? But they know their plans and they're implementing them, both administrators.
Okay, thank you. So I'm very curious about what is done with bullying, because that's like, sometimes it's the elephant in the room, or our kids go through that and they're so scared they don't say anything, especially what's happening now with our families. You know, we don't want our kids not to ask for help because they're going to be afraid that their parents or themselves or whatever are deported. Um, it- so I think we need to focus, and I'm not saying that we don't, because I'm not at the school site, but on this bullying, because it is in the safety plan. And some of our kids get bullied, and we know some hurt themselves, they start cutting themselves, or they don't know what to do, when especially when it comes to do with the students. And I know we have social workers and counselors and so forth, but at some point, I'm going to request that we do a little bit, or we have a presentation on just how are we implementing these things? What are they done? Because it's one thing just, and I'm not saying that the principals just sign it and just put it on their shelf. I'm not saying that. Yet, how do we, this list of things in the safety plan, how do we keep them alive during the whole school year, especially the ones that have to do directly? They're all directly to students, but especially the bullying and the cyberbullying, because it's a big problem. And it's even now, we don't want the students to go through that with what's happening. So I appreciate that, and thank you for letting me comment.
Any other comments? Okay, we will then, Mr. Koenig, we would have a line vote, please.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, we will then move on to item 9, which is business services, and this is an action item, 24-25 second interim budget report. I will entertain a motion.
Motion.
Motion made by Señora Perez,
Second. Second.
second by Señor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote, please.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Perez,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
B, action item, resolution number 242516, budgetary increases and transfers at second interim for fiscal year 24-25. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second, Señora Perez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis, Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
10, human resources, action item, memorandum of understanding between Alisal Union School District and the California School Employees Association and its chapter 577 regarding district translator interpreter job description. Motion? Moved by Señora Gilpa, second.
Second.
Second by Señor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
10B, action item, revised job description, district translator interpreter. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Jimenez, second. Second, Señora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Action item resolution number 242517, reducing or eliminating certain classified positions for the 25-26 school year. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second by Señora Perez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Pereira, Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Point of clarification, please.
Sure.
Mr. Campo, did we do B?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we haven't done,
B?
B as in boy,
no, we haven't done B. We did A, but didn't do B.
and we just did C.
No, yeah,
did do
we
B.
did
Okay, I'm
B.
just checking on
We
you
just
guys,
did
okay?
C.
We did C.
I missed it.
Well, now we move to 11B, which is, I think I may have skipped the B. That's action item destruction of records. Yeah, we did miss that one, yes. So we'll go, can we go backwards?
We're going in order,
Well, we did the A already.
right?
Now we go to B. Right.
No, we did it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, now was I on, refresh my memory, yes, B, right, yes. We're at, this is administrative services, 11B, because we did A. Action item, destruction of records, class 1, previously damaged by water infiltration from rain. Motion?
That's good. Motion.
A motion by la señora Perez. A
Second.
Is it?
Second.
Oh, second by Senor Jimenez. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yeah.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, 11C, action item, classification of records from class 1 to class 3 for 4 years following destruction on or after March 13th, 2029. Records met all conditions listed under California Code of Regulations, sections 59022. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
Second by Senora Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
11D, action item, agreement. Diligent cooperation for community platform. Board meeting agenda system. Term, April 13th, 2025, April 12th, 2029. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Jimenez, a second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gilpas. Comments, questions? Line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
11E, action item, adopt new board policies, administrative regulations, exhibit series 3000, business and non-instructional operations included. Motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Jimenez, second.
Second.
I'm sorry, was that Ms. Gilbert? Oh, Ms. Perez. Second, Ms. Perez. Comments, questions? Vote, line vote.
Vice President Ocampo,
Yes.
Clerk Pettis,
Yes.
Trustee Gilpus Barrera,
Yes.
Trustee Jimenez.
Yes.
The motion passes.
First read information, revised policies, series 3000, business and non-instructional operations included. We have future agenda items for you to kind of review. And we also have future meeting dates for the board to review. I don't know if there's any comments or questions on the future agenda items or meeting dates? Yes.
I just wanted to add as a future presentation on the school safety and how the plans are implemented, a little bit more on that, maybe by, I mean, whenever, but I think it's important. Thank you.
Did you want to focus? 'Cause I know you spoke a lot about bullying. Did you
Yeah,
want
I'd
to
like
focus on
first like
bullying?
to see what we're, how we're doing on that. There's several on the list, so however, I'm sure it'll be very informational just to get a little bit more understanding on how we make the verification of the safety plan a live document or something that continues. There's probably things that are happening. I'm not questioning it. I would just like to know, but I do want to specify highlight bullying because that's important.
I would recommend that if you have other areas that you want to focus on, that maybe a list to the staff possibly
Okay,
from you, so that they
thank you.
know, well, I want to know how it's implemented, that these are the areas I'm most concerned. about, it's just about, I mean, if you
Thank
want to
you.
do it or not. but- Okay. We will then continue to 14, which is public comments. Closed session agenda items only. There will be a 2-minute limit for individuals and a 20-minute limit on total public comments. There's no ceding so one's time to other individuals. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Trustees on closed session agenda items may do so at this time. We have a starting time of 7 p.m. and an ending time of 7 p.m. We will now adjourn to closed session at 7 p.m. After a 10-minute break, closed session will start promptly at 7:11 p.m. Thank you.
¿Y esto quién nos lo dio? ¿Distrito? No, esto es el plan. ¿Sí? Bueno, muchas gracias. Ya voy a trabajar.
Ms. Fernandez. One more should do it, I guess, right? Then we are a legal entity. Oh, man. Well, hopefully. We will now reconvene to open session. Time is 8:07, and we do have a few reportable items. So on a vote of 4-0, with trustee Garcia absent, the board appointed Avelina Navarrete as principal, effective July 1st, 2025. Congratulations to Ms. Avelina. On a vote of 4-0, with trustee Garcia absent, the board appointed Gemma Asheliman, thank you, Asheliman, as an occupational therapist, effective immediately. Congratulations. On a vote of 4-0, with trustee Garcia absent, the board appointed Rosa Araguin de Salinas as community school site coordinator, effective immediately. Congratulations. On a vote of 4-0, with trustee Garcia absent, the board appointed Jesus Valenzuela Felix as community school site coordinator, effective immediately. Congratulations. And I believe that's it. We will now adjourn. Meeting adjourned at 8:08. Thank you, everybody, for taking time to listen to the board meeting, and good night.